Hey, welcome to another episode of Backwoods Brothers. I'm with my man
Tony.
And I am Joel, and we already have a special episode for you tonight. We are talking about the midterms.
Wait a minute, that's actually happening now?
Yeah, it's like tomorrow. Tomorrow. Yesterday wasn't like a...
Tomorrow's midterm?
Tomorrow's yesterday.
You know what? The voting actually solidifies tomorrow.
Yeah, assuming that, that they actually...
There's no dead people that rise up.
Exactly.
Oh, my goodness.
As long as it falls the way they want, right?
Right. Hey, guys, welcome tonight. You are invited to interact. As always, we have some experiences of some people getting back into office. We're going to talk about local, state, and federal, the big picture. Tonight,
Yes.
right?
Yes, and what's still pending out there and what's coming and everything else.
Yeah, a couple of measures, too, as well.
Yeah, especially ones that we definitely don't.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah, that's not good.
But look behind you.
Yes.
I mean, come on. Explain that. You were at the party last night.
So
tell us what happened.
So local, some of the local things going on. We had a mayoral campaign.
Yeah, I can't say it either.
Mayoral campaign. We also had councilor campaigns, and we had a couple of local measures.
Oh my gosh.
So
I don't even know why they stack everything together on one card or one page. It's like a lot to vote.
37 birds, one stone.
I guess so. But explain, yeah.
So there's Mayor Drinkwine was running against Sarah.
Palin?
Not Sarah Palin. Her last name gets me because it's actually officially it was like Sarah R or something, right?
Yeah. This is local Estacadia, guys, by the way.
Yeah. Anyways, overall, Mayor Drinkwine just completely crushed that race.
So tell me, you were there. Tell me about the atmosphere. What was it like?
Well, we were mainly just trying to figure out where to find all the good results at because everybody had something else to put on the phone. And so, like, Brandy was looking at one, I was looking at one, Mary's looking at one, and they were all updating and saying different things. So we had no idea which one to go with. So we ended up going with Google. I think is the most common one we went with because it's updated by the Associated Press, and supposedly they have some.
We can hear your heater, guys.
Oh, she's whining up.
Uh-oh. Okay, now it's off.
Now we're going to be cold.
Okay, so guys, bundle up in this weather. It is cold outside, but no, where were you? Like, what's the venue? What was the venue? Were you there a group of friends together? Was it a private party? What happened?
It was just a private party at the over at Mayor Drinkwine's house with some close friends and things like that. So I don't know. I went there. I know you went somewhere special. We're gonna talk about later.
Sure.
Yeah. So that's just we basically just had several people over. I mean, nothing too crazy.
Was the room tense? Was it?
Yeah, a little bit as the different results are coming in, and we were looking at things happening across the board. But as we saw most of the map filling up with red, they got really excited.
Got you.
Yes, exactly.
Was this the local map or?
Oh, this was the local and national map. No, there were some blue spots in there, but it really shocked me as how so much of the country could be red. But yeah, only a few cities and random spots have seemed to be making a lot of the decisions for things. It was really just crazy. Mm-hmm. I mean, if it was based upon area coverage, then this whole country would be Republican, minus a few little dots. So
Sean, he is second term, actually, and this is a really awesome time because we were fighting for at least a 4-year term for mayor, and he got it legitimately being voted through another time.
Exactly. I think it says it's 6 or 8 years.
This is his 6 or 8 years?
Being mayor, but he was also had like a decade before that of being in councils and committees.
Time to change the vote, you guys. Sean, this is your city. Congratulations, Mayor Sean.
Yes, Mayor Sean. And so as far as local, they haven't officially declared it, so nothing's official yet. But it looks like it's going to be Mike McElroy, Heidi Prokop, and Jerry Tenbush are the top three.
So you're talking about council.
And right now, if you look on the screen here, we're able to pull this up and actually see what the results are for the county here. And it looks like Mike McElroy is leading by 51 votes at 20.97%.
Oh, wow.
Heidi Prokop got 653 at 25.84%. And Jerry Tenbush got 603 at 23.86.
Way to go, Mike, Heidi, and Jerry.
Yep, those are most likely going to be our new 3 city councilors. And then, Jerry's coming back in.
Right.
Mike's currently on the council as an appointment, but looks like he'll be continuing on.
Gotcha.
And then Heidi Prokop will be coming in as a new city councilor.
And Heidi, for us local people, how do we identify her? Like, how do we know who she is? Like,
I think she was inside of, like, if you look up and you pick up the voting brochure, I think her picture and her name
picture's in there.
Yeah. Plus, she'll be on in January, so if no one sees her before then.
Way to go, councilmen and women.
Yes, congratulations.
Wow.
So, the episode says early congrats to Mr. Sean Drinkwine from Jeremy Freedom. Thank you very much. And Chris, good to see you there.
Yes.
Okay, so also let's we had a local measure. Last it looked like it was the temporary moratorium on psilocybin. So say it, the mushrooms. Psilocybin. Yeah, that one. Anyways, so yes, that is. It looked like it's passing for a 2-year moratorium on that one. I think it passed for the county as well.
Okay.
So yep, that's where we're at. And I think she's looking at pulling that up right here.
Yeah.
69.5 said yes to the county, it looks like.
Oh, wow.
And for Estacada, it was 60.89 said yes to a temporary moratorium on psilocybin. Okay, so for the county, as far as we had Ben West was running against Sonia Fisher.
Yes, and did you see the ad on Ben West? They really emphasized the part of him showing up. I was always wondering what was that about.
I don't know, and I never got that anyways. They didn't really emphasize about it. Like I think they were saying that if he had a different appointment somewhere, his attendance was bad. Maybe I'm guessing.
What were the results for him though?
Okay, let's look how close this race is.
Okay.
49.9% for Sonia Fisher. 49.92% for Ben West. 0.02% difference. Huh. Actually, yeah, and then there was a write-in or something.
25 votes.
25 votes difference. Yep, 25 vote difference.
Wow.
That's how much Ben is winning by. It only takes one.
Only takes one.
But yeah, so and then there's also Sherry Hall. Looks like she lost. It'll be going into Catherine McCullen. She lost to like 2-1 almost.
Gotcha.
Paul Savas, he beat over Lieber Ford.
Okay.
So
not to be mistaken for Chavez.
Paul.
Because isn't
Paul Savas was already on the
right
on there. So
when we were at Terry Emmert's house, we came. Was a campaign that Lars Larson spoke for.
Was it Lori?
Lori.
Yes, Lori. She's winning last night.
She's winning. Yes, she is. So exactly. Lori, way to go.
And the current let me see here. The current results for local, and I'm just making sure I am actually in local. It says reloading. Okay, so for local, let me see if I can push this button. Oh, that worked. Okay, cool. I didn't think that was going to work. Okay, so let's see what the current up-to-date results are as of 7/13 right now for the U.S. House. We are still at 2 for Democratic Party, 1 for the Republican Party, and the Lori Chavez Dreamer is at 51.3% of the vote, at 73% reporting. And Andrea Salinas is at 49.7%, and with Mike Erickson trailing at 48.1%, and Mike is the Republican, and Andre Salinas is the Democratic Party.
One of the things we have to remember during this time is these are projections because votes are still coming in, is my understanding.
Yeah, so it's 61% on District 6, which is the big area. I think.
The big area.
Or one of the areas. I'm not sure.
There's a...
Sure. Oh, there you go. That's on the thing there. So that's for... she jumped ahead. That was the governor one. She shot the governor.
Gotcha.
So the Lori Chavez streamer right there is exactly 51.3%. And that's for... She's in Oregon 5. If you scroll up a little bit, keep going. Here says Bend, Salem, everything else. That's District 5. That's where she's at. Mm-hmm. And the other two are Question, which is basically the coastal and by Eugene. And there's a little pocket there. I'm not really sure what that's about. who's in that area. I think Salem might be in that area. I'm not really sure. So that's the house. So let's talk about the big one.
Well, should we go to a break first?
Is it that time? Oh my goodness. Yes, we should go to a break. Hey, and so first one on the top of the thing here is actually we talked about Mayor Drinkwine, correct?
Yes.
Well, he happens to own, with his wife, he happens to own a great little sign called Whitney Signs.
Yes.
And if you take a look at this.
Hey, we're back.
Yes.
Why don't you talk to us about how we got the invite to go to Christina Drazen's
election party. Yes.
Yes.
So Brandy got a call from her. I think it was her assistant.
Her manager.
Manager, thank you. Letting us know that that we'll be receiving an invitation soon. And so we received the invitation in the email, and I had already prior commitments, and I said, hey, Tony, do you want to go down and represent Backwoods Brothers?
Yeah.
And he said, oh, yeah.
Yeah. So, why don't you tell everybody about the show that she was on before we go into that?
Oh, yeah. So I think it was right around Christmas, wasn't it? I forget exactly which show she was on.
It was February, the preliminaries.
Yeah, the preliminaries in February. Okay, so that's the show she was on. She came on, and it's actually when we had our old studio set up. And so she came on, and we'd had a good conversation with her, and she was on the show here, and it was really good. She got a chance to share her views ahead of time, and I think we froze.
I enjoyed it, but I remember her freezing. It was kind of cold.
Yeah.
She was kind of sitting like this, wasn't she?
Yeah, but I think she got through. She toughed it out.
Right.
She toughed it out. Now we're in like an insulated ice box. It's either cold or warm.
Yep. So what were your impressions of her visit?
I think it was good. There were some questions that some of our viewers were wishing she had answered, but she didn't. And that's because some may not have made it we weren't presented to her, but anything presented to her, she did answer. Yeah. I think it was good. I think she had a lot of fun. I think it was a good representation at the time. And I wish we had more time to talk to her, and she could have got her back on the show, but she was a little too busy for that.
Definitely. So. My take home from that visit was very genuine. Mm-hmm. She was very genuine.
Exactly.
She was very strong on some points, and she even got stronger as she progressed through this race on some positions and on a lot of positions. And in 40 years, we haven't seen a red wave, and we're still waiting on some results to come in.
Yeah. So let me see. I think Brandy had the results up a second ago of where we're at with her. Currently, as of 7/18, we are at Tina Kotek has 46.7%, and Christine Drazen has 43.9%.
Okay. But again, it's not over until it's over, is it?
Yeah, it's what's that? 2.8%. Tina Kotek keeps going. Now there were some questions earlier about a massive jump in votes. It's like they're like almost a 50,000 vote jump earlier, and primarily almost all of them went straight to Tina Kotek, which made it a little weird, and it was a little confusing for some people. So I have a feeling that some people are going to be asking questions about that. And so
I had a chance to go to last night the Christine Drazen party, and it was held at the Gardens, Botanical Gardens down in, I want to say, Jeremy, help me if you're here, Springfield. But anyways, it was a very neat location. So we ended up walking down to that venue. There were lots of people there. And I'm thinking, we get this special invitation from Christine Drazen, and we're exclusively the Backwoods Brothers being there with maybe a couple other people. No, she has a lot of friends. She has a ton of friends. I was like, dude. So do that. I was like, do that. Anyways, so we walked in. I went with a friend of mine, and you could just feel all the excitement in the room and the anticipation. Started at 7:30. It ended somewhere around 11:30. And when we got there, we got a chance to see people that, well, it was almost like for some, like a high school reunion. Because everybody everybody clustered together, and you could tell people were talking, and then you had the people who really, I went from person to person and said, how do you know Christine? And there are people who went to church with her. There are people whose kids play together. She was really a lot of relational webs Christine had at this party. And so I was really impressed by that. Pastors, circles that she's actually, run in, are definitely coming back and supporting her wholeheartedly. And so as the party progressed, there was this band that was playing, and they actually played my favorite song, Tennessee Whiskey. And it was really good. They were really good entertainment. And then we were anticipating Christine, anticipating her, and she waited until that anticipation built. And then she came out, and she gave a thank you, almost accepted speech. When she talked, you could tell she had a vision that she is going to carry through. It wasn't just a talking point through her campaign. She actually legitimized and solidified the fact that this is what I'm here for. And so it was really, really good to be in that moment. I took a couple selfies. It's kind of cool. Saw some other podcasters down there. So it was really neat. The press was down there, of course, the press box, and well, we'll move on from there. So it was
Silverton is what Chris has said.
Silverton. Thank you. Got a chance to see them yesterday too. So it was really fun hanging out with Jeremy. And
were they down there?
No, we stopped in Malala on the way down, and I'm like, hey, she was holding the precious baby. And we said, let's go out to dinner. So we went out to dinner a little bit, hung out, and then from there we left to go down.
I hear you were there till late at the
Oh man, we didn't get out until 11:30, and
it's a couple-hour drive back, wasn't it?
Well, about an hour. I mean, yeah. And the person I was riding with, it was about an hour, but he was kind of nervous. If you're watching right now, he was kind of nervous about the roads being as cold as they were. But anyways, the point was, it was worth going.
Awesome.
It was worth going, and I was proud to represent Backwoods Brothers, as it's a large team. So it was really good. Yeah,
and we got a bunch of pictures he took that we'll be putting out on Facebook later.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, so I think you even got a video or something too?
I had a video. So I videoed about 6 minutes of her acceptance speech, but it's about 7 minutes long. Mm-hmm. So it wasn't a long, drawn-out thing. It was, this is what I'm going to do. This is who I'm going to thank.
Matter of fact.
Yeah, and I saw a couple people from Estacada and urged them to watch the show. As a matter of fact, one of the ladies did Christine Drazen's hair and makeup through her whole campaign. She's a local Estacada person. I didn't know that.
That's awesome. Hey, Estacada really gets in there and fights, right?
Yeah, right.
So, but hey, the numbers may not be looking in our favor now, but you know what? There's still a lot to go. I think that we still got 20% of the vote has to be counted.
Yeah. If for some that might think going to a party like that is anticlimactic after the fact that the votes come in, no time's wasted on celebrating that person who's made it that far.
Yeah,
because the race was pretty tight. So we're not going to throw out, if she doesn't make it, we're not going to throw out all of her efforts.
Usually, the Republican vote for I think for the last governor was around maybe 20. No, it was 30 to 40%, somewhere in there.
Yeah.
I think it was way under. Well, in this case, this is the closest race that we've had for governor in over 40 years.
Yeah.
And that's how close it is. It's just crushing it.
And I'm new to the political scene. I got to tell you this, guys. But I'm not new to rumors. I'm not new to things like that. And when the campaign ads were coming out about her, those who knew her, I was talking to a lot of people about this. Mm-hmm. Those who knew her knew that was mudslinging.
Exactly.
Knew that they were going to get a talking point and hang it over her head to make it look like it belonged to her. Exactly. And it doesn't. It didn't. Those that know her, love her, knows she's for all people.
Exactly.
Not just for subgroups or certain sets of groups. She even said that in her speech last night. I'm for everybody.
Exactly, and she is. And the thing is that my thing is, if there's a politician who has to go there and they have to use, how bad somebody else is, instead of talking about what they can do good for it and actually talking about what their plan is, that's a bad politician and a bad person that should be representing you. You want somebody who has a plan that can articulate that plan and doesn't need to mudsling in order to get that across. That is someone that you want to represent you.
Yeah. Yeah.
So.
Never mind. I was going to quote, when they go low, we go high, but I know where that came from, so I'm not going to do it. But she definitely took the high ground in all of this. She didn't bother. I didn't see it. Yeah, I didn't see it add against the other opponent that was mudslinging.
Yeah, I think whenever I saw her ad, she was just talking about what she can do for the state. That's all I saw.
Yep.
The positive piece.
Yep.
So, hey, Sarah, good to see you. But yeah, I think that was just a really good positive thing. I actually look forward to seeing her ads. I hated the Tina Kotek ads. One, you couldn't skip any of them.
Yep.
Two, she's just annoying. I couldn't stand it. I wanted to change the channel every time I could, but it'd just be pop back up again. And then they always had to tear something down instead of trying to lift something and build something back up. And that's been the theme of that party for years now.
I'll just be honest. Christine Drazen doesn't need the January 6th, whatever that was attached to her. She doesn't need the ultra mega, whatever you want to call that attached to her in the negative way they put it. She doesn't need those other things that were attached to her in those ads because she's not that person. And she did talk about the support of the police force, which we're going to talk about here in Measure 114, which affects the remaining police who are out on the streets right now. Exactly.
It's the measures on there. First of all, the Measure 114, which you know what? I think we're actually time for break. I don't want to jump into the measures until after the break.
Well, you know what? It's time for pizza. Right after the show, you want to run down to Hitchin Post Pizza. Valerie, local, amazing woman with an amazing business. You're going to want to watch this. So, welcome back, you guys. We are talking about the elections, something that's on everybody's mind across the country. We talked about our local, so far, elections with Mayor Sean Drinkwine and the council men and women that are now a part of our political community. So, and then we are talking about Christine Drazen and how gubernatorial races are going, and we've had her on our show, and we had a chance to actually go down and visit with her and celebrate her last night at her private party, which was filled with thousands of people.
Was there really that many people there?
No. I couldn't see, but there were a whole buttload of people. That's all I'm saying. The food was good, too.
Yeah, well, I thought you took a picture of it, I think. We're going to share that online.
Yeah.
Somebody gets the chance to see. Yeah, and then definitely a video of her speech.
Yes.
So,
yes.
Yeah.
By the way, I talked to one of the, I think it was not Marshall, but, I need to remember.
Mark Thielman. How
did you know?
Because I saw the picture.
I was like, wait a minute. She was hovering over top of the whole venue watching me.
Yeah.
Yes, Mark. So I talked to him, and he did commit to coming on our show.
Oh, nice. We definitely need to get him on here.
Yes.
So we'll reach out and get him on the schedule here in the near future.
Awesome. So. He knew your name. I said I name dropped you like crazy. Like,
most people like who?
Joel?
Who's that guy?
That's what they. Who's that guy? Is he? No, he's an awesome councilman. So go ahead. You're good.
Okay, we're gonna talk about measures, guys. These are the measures here in Oregon. So I think we actually can bring them up there. Okay. So first one, Measure 111. This is the one that that you would be, if it passes, it's a really, really bad thing if it passes. We need this to fail. And the reason why we need this to fail is because if it passes, it makes healthcare a constitutional right. That sounds great, right?
Yeah.
But the fact is it pulls money from schools, pulls money from police, pulls money from everything else in order to fund that healthcare.
If you pulls money from the police?
Police, schools? Other welfare welfare programs.
Yeah.
And I mean, it pulls money from everywhere else to fund that one. So yeah, and schools was the big one on there. Plus, by making health, a while back I spoke about the universal health care that Oregon's trying to put in place.
Yeah.
The one that would basically make private insurance illegal. No, it wasn't. It hasn't passed or anything yet.
It was okay.
Yeah, they started working on it a couple of years ago. But it would make it so they can make private insurance illegal. It would make it so it's all health insurance is done by the state only. That they set the rates at which doctors are paid. And if you make over $50,000, you automatically get I think it's a 15% tax raise. It was insanely high, and it's flat across the board. No matter how much you make over 50,000, 15%. But if you make under 50,000, you don't have to pay anything for it.
So if you can go to Backwoods Brothers Facebook page, if you I believe it's still at the top of that page.
If it's not, I'll find it and put it on there for you.
Yeah, so go check that out.
But the thing is, that's not what this was. This is the grounds that they needed in order to get that in place. So if it passes, they can get that in place. So that's the problem. So if you guys care about your insurance, be praying heavily that this one fails, because if it passes, healthcare is doomed in the state. And
keep us in Oregon.
Yes.
Well, and actually, the producer said something, and I think it begs a little bit of explanation that certain people will not be able to get the services they need.
Yeah, people that have chronic illnesses, people that have other serious issues. If it passes and then they end up implementing the universal health care, when that becomes in place, people that have that depend on that care to live and to stay alive won't be getting that in a normal case. It's if you look at how the military runs healthcare, it'll be worse. It'll be worse than that. Long lines, long waits, denials left and right till you're on your deathbed, things like that. If you even get it, I mean, they'll be weighing out. Everything has to go through approval. You want to fart left in the doctor's office, you got to get it approved.
Got to get it approved.
Anyways, because the government never runs anything efficiently, ever. No. I mean, private healthcare has trouble keeping it in line. No, that's going to be run by the,
the state.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So good luck on that one. If it passes, just hope it fails. It needs to fail. It needs to lose 4%. 4% it needs to drop.
Here's an uneducated question. When will we know this?
It's currently 70% reporting, so it's got 30% more to count, so probably by tomorrow. By tomorrow. Yeah, but I mean, I think they had to certify the election. It takes a little bit of time to do that.
Yeah.
And if there's any challenges and everything else, and from what I understand is if 111 does pass, there's already a bunch of legal challenges they're going to try to bring to it. But I don't think they're gonna have much weight behind it, though, unfortunately.
I would suspect it would be for Measure 111, 12, 13, 14.
I don't know about 12 and 13. I know 14 is already. If
14, tell me about.
Yeah, I don't want to jump to that one yet. I want to get the other two quick.
Yes.
But if that actually passes, there's a slew of stuff ready to go for that. They're prepped for that one.
I bet.
But yeah, so that's 111. So pray to God that fails, because I don't think people really understood what that meant and what's actually coming on top of that. So Measure 112 basically bans slavery as a criminal punishment. Sounds like a good thing, right? Well, good. You know what? If you ever had someone that's had to serve community service, speak for the crime they committed instead of going to jail or getting a massive fine, things like that. Well, community service no longer exists if this passes, which it says
slavery.
It has passed. It's not slavery. It's if you're
for those that don't know.
Yeah.
Let's clear that up.
Yeah, it's not slavery. It's you commit a crime.
That's it.
You are basically making restitution to the community.
Yes, I had to clear that up for y'all because
every other state in the country is okay with it.
Yeah,
it's normal. Now the all the work release programs where people can go out and do work and things like that. Either A, they're going to have to pay them. By the way, the people that committed the crime that stole from you, stole from people, killed people, beat up people, took shots out, anything else, the rape kids, whatever else it might be, things like that. Those guys, instead of having to work to bring restitution to the community, no, they get to sit back on your dime. You're paying for them to sit back, watch cable TV, eat good food, have a roof over their head, enjoy themselves, do whatever they need to, right? They get to work out, they can play sports, all these different great things you can do. And they no longer have to give anything back.
A perfect recipe to create repeat offenders.
Oh, exactly. But now they no longer can make them go out and do cleanups and things like that and repair stuff. No more side crews. Now with this law, it requires them to just sit back and enjoy themselves. It's a vacation for a couple of years. Oh yeah, sure they have some control on how and when they do things, and they can't go anywhere they want, but they don't have to worry about anything for a little bit. Sounds kind of nice. So that's what that is. So yeah, so basically, community service is no longer existing in Oregon, or work programs no longer exist in Oregon because the word slavery was inside of the Constitution. Oh my goodness! They couldn't vote to change the word.
I call it rehabilitation. I call it developing a work ethic so they can.
Exactly. But slavery, bad word, and most people didn't understand.
Well, that's why I think that's a buzzword.
Exactly. That's when they wanted to get passed. That's what they did it for.
Right.
Let's bring up the next one. Okay, the next one here we have is Measure 113. This amends the Oregon Constitution to disqualify the state lawmakers from re-election if they have 10 or more unexcused absences from the legislative floor sessions.
Now, you know what this was targeting, right?
This was targeting Republicans specifically. People didn't understand what this actually means. So everybody who's Republican-based that got mad at Christine when she didn't walk out on one of the bills or something like that, now she can't or she cannot get reelected if you get 10 or more. So they only have, for the entire term, they have 10 total abilities of unexcused absences. That means if they have a personal emergency or something else like that comes up, or if they're out of town because they're on vacation, happen to be on vacation during a session or emergency session shows up, they have to be at all of them, which is good. Representatives should be there. Yes. But they have no defense when a supermajority is making everything pass, but the supermajority can't pass it because the minor majority, the minority, that's the only defense that they had in some cases was to walk out.
Yeah.
Now, I wish there was better tactics, and I'm always 50-50 on that because I think when you have a representative, they should do their job. Maybe their job is to walk out sometimes.
See, that's interesting you say that from that perspective because you've seen it justified and you've seen it not justified walkouts.
Oh, and of course, there's a perception on that too, and some people like on the other side is going to go, well, it's, we couldn't get the things we thought were best for the country or best for the state in there, whatever we wanted because you guys walked out. And if it was the other side, we'd be like, yeah, they're walking out. They need to stick so we can do the job. That part aside, it's an actual tool when there's a super majority. Now, if it's just a minority, like, 51% versus whatever, but when you're 60%, is one, or 70% is one, and there's 30% of the other. That's a supermajority. You need a tool in order to have some sort of say in that government, because otherwise you have no say, and that supermajority can get whatever they want. I bet you if the Republicans had the supermajority in Oregon, that the Democrats would be screaming about this bill. They'd be like, I don't know, this is so unfair. Yeah, because it wouldn't be in their favor. And if it ever turns, I guarantee you, I'll mark my words now. They're
screaming and finding their safe spaces.
Yeah, they're going to find their safe spaces. This makes me feel really sad. This is bad.
No, but yeah,
I mean, and if we ever turn and becomes a supermajority for Republicans in the state of Oregon, I guarantee, mark my words today, that they're going to. When we start using this one against them, that they are going to scream about it. And we're going to be like, hey, you guys voted it in.
There you go. There you go.
All right, now let's get to the big one everybody wants to talk about.
Everybody is talking about this. Today, I met with people, and this is what was on their mind.
Okay, so Measure 114. Basically, there's a whole bunch of stuff in there. First of all, it says you have to require a permit from law enforcement for people to purchase firearms. First of all, unconstitutional, a direct violation of the Second Amendment. It's federally unconstitutional, and technically it's against the Constitution of the state.
Let me ask you a quick question, okay? Mm-hmm. As a person that does not possess a firearm, like myself, I'm visually impaired, I take it upon myself to realize that is a limitation that I will not use a firearm. How does it affect someone like me?
If you ever decide to buy one, but it doesn't technically affect you directly.
But how? If I'm getting somewhere.
No.
I'm actually leading you somewhere.
You're asking me the question. I mean, think about that. We're on the show. I can't think about it.
Yeah, no.
Tell me, what you got?
So, because I'm pro Second Amendment, and I like good guys with protection.
Well, okay, I can see where you're going with this.
And you see where I'm going with this?
Yeah, it makes it harder for the good guys to have firearms that might have it, and it's easier for the bad guys to have it, right? Is that where you're going with it?
You got it.
Okay. So I got you.
You got it. You got the quiz. You passed the quiz.
Okay, so yes, that's exactly it. So, okay, let me think about
boom.
That's good.
Oh, that hurt.
No.
Dang.
So the
way to go. Big guns right there. Okay, go ahead. No pun intended.
It's like flappy. It shook a little bit. So, but okay, there's a couple things with the what this means. One is if you want to buy a gun, if this passes, you now have to go to your law enforcement, put in an application. But your application doesn't stop there. You have to now prove that you have had live fire training, like with the firearm. So you have to go and you have to get trained on a firearm. So you have to schedule a class.
Mm-hmm. So if I walked in, I wanted a gun, in quotes, I would have to get first what?
You have to, first of all, let's start simple. You have to have a clear mental check. You have to show that you're mentally cognizant. And you don't have any orders against you mentally or anything like that. Mm-hmm. You have to have your background check.
Background check?
I agree with the background check, 100%. Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Make sure that's not a criminal.
Yep.
Boom. That's, by the way, that's already in place today.
That's already in place.
Today.
That didn't change.
And red flag laws.
Sure that didn't change.
The red flag laws say that if you have had a mental order from a judge, that you can't buy a firearm, and that comes up in your background check. So that's different than having a wellness check on your head already. Okay, so that's two things.
Good point.
Okay.
Good point.
The next one is you have to get certified that you've had live fire firearms training. I agree with training, but not preliminary to buy a gun. Everybody should get the training if they have a gun, and especially if they're going to carry one on an all basis. But it should never be, if your constitutional right says you don't have to do that in order to get it. But now, according to the state of Oregon, you have to get training in order to buy a gun. If this passes, it still hasn't passed yet. Mm-hmm. But you have to get training to get the permit.
Keep in mind that didn't pass yet.
Yeah. So that means you have to get all this in place. And then you have to go put an application and pay a fee to the sheriff's office in your county for them to take all this together and give you a permit so you can go buy the gun.
5 steps so far?
Yeah, I think there might be something. I feel like I'm missing something in there. There's some other things too. I'll get to that in a minute. Mm-hmm. So that's what will give you the permit. Now, they have 30 days in order to give you the permit, but every sheriff's office in the state has said, we don't have the manpower for it. They're not going to meet that 30 days. So you're looking 60 days.
We're looking at 30 days of implementation of this, by the way.
Yes. So if you want to, instead of going to buy a gun, waiting 3 days for your background check and taking the gun home, picking up after that like it is now, you might be waiting 30 or 60 days. Direct violation of your rights. Okay, second thing is, there's another person. It's called the 10-round capacity of a magazine. This right here is my
So do something, because we're going to start something new on the show soon, and it's stuff like this. So kind of walk through it here.
Okay, well, this right here currently there's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, that's the total amount of rounds I'm allowed to have right there. And I can have a magazine capacity that can do more than that. Okay. This is what my standard design is for, and what it can do in here. Okay. Mm-hmm. I now lost 2, but technically it can do 13. I never fully load
so that's a 13
rounds.
Okay.
Yeah, and you never fully load it because of the fact is that it can cause more jamming and stuff. It's what they train. You always want less than what your magazine is, unless you chamber one.
Okay.
So this is what these are here.
This is a person that doesn't know about guns, guys. Sorry.
Yeah, I do know about weapons. I was in the military. That's where I was trained on these.
Yes.
So okay, but yeah, so this is a typical one. This is the rounds in there. So
13.
they're saying that there's a problem between adding that extra couple. The extra 2 shots or 3 shots you might get in there.
So
no, I have to go spend a bunch of money to get a new one of these.
Right.
That's in compliance, by the way. And I always follow the law. I'll do what I'm supposed to do if it passes. And so it's now.
So this is not 13 bullets to a round like Biden said.
13 bullets to a round. That's a different type of this, but
so they are.
But yeah, so I just basically.
But we can't put these.
This right here is okay. Imagine if I had 10 put in there. Yeah, there'd be 3 rounds left.
3 rounds.
So imagine if something did happen. I did have an emergency, and someone broke into my house, and I'm able to get my weapon out from all the lockups, out of the safe, and out of.
Don't you have to reconstruct everything?
Out of the safe, and then out of the extra lock on top of that, like it's supposed to be. And then I take all that out.
Yeah.
And I said, hold on, burglar. I know you're breaking into my house, and there's an emergency here, but I need to get my gun out of the safe.
Who got their gun illegally?
Yeah, by the way, guarantee. Which, by the way, if you actually look,
do they really care about gun laws?
If you actually look at the national crime statistics, that's where the federal government, everything else comes together. It'll show you that it's 90. I think it's 90.7 or something like that. I just looked up the other day.
Yeah.
Basically, most of the crimes committed in the U.S. across the whole U.S. are committed by illegally obtained firearms.
Yeah. So while you're legally constructing your gun, you have to ask the criminal to hold on for it.
Exactly. So I pull it out, and then I'm like, okay, then I got my weapon here.
Okay, go ahead.
But honestly, the difference between a 30-round magazine, this is what they're focusing on, is a 30-round magazine inside an AR-15. The difference between a 30-round magazine and a 10-round magazine is literally about 3 seconds. It means nothing to do that except for to violate your rights and make it harder for you to, as a law-abiding citizen, to protect yourself. Because there is no law, there is no criminal that's going to follow that law. They don't follow the law in the first place.
Okay, so let's talk about this.
So who's it hurting? Is
there a little bit of? Again, I'm uneducated. So.
Yeah, I know. I'm going to round it up here in 3 minutes. So.
Yeah. Is it a measure that will come and take your guns?
No, they will not come and take the guns.
Because I'm hearing talk about
you won't be able to buy it you won't be able to buy them in the state anymore. And there's already sheriff's offices in the state that are saying they are not going to enforce the 10-round gun. They literally wrote a thing saying we will not be enforcing the 10-round limit on the guns. They said we're refusing to enforce that in the county. The 10-round limit thing, they're not going to come inspect it. They don't have a constitutional legal right to do that. In fact, all of the gun I'll say activists, but supporters and pro Second Amendment, they've already got a slew of legal challenges to this. So if it passes, they're going to dump those in court come the first business day out there. They're going to file everything in court.
Gotcha.
And they're going to probably hang this thing up for a little bit. The downside is when it all comes down the chain at the very end of it all, there's probably going to be some things that they say, well, these ones are constitutional, okay, and these ones are not. And what's going to happen is they're going to take those things, they'll probably kill the entire thing the way it's set up. They can't cherry pick, I don't think.
Gotcha.
So they'll kill everything in the entire bill. But then they'll bring it back for the things that they found out would go through court, and now they're able to get those things through. And that's good. It could be like a 10-round magazine thing is not constitutionally protected.
Gotcha.
Buying a gun and having a 30-day, 60-day delay on it, that's a constitutionally protected thing that they're going to win on that one. And some of the requirements that they're going to change those things around. But your capacity, that they're going to end up hanging on to that one.
Right.
So
we are Backwoods brothers, and these things pertain to Backwoods. So it's so go ahead, wrap up that.
Overall, things are still open. We'll see where they go. But honestly, the big thing to know is that the all these things are focused on is to reduce. And I don't care what they say. It's common sense as otherwise. It's to reduce the law-abiding citizen's ability to protect themselves from the criminals out there, because criminals do not follow the laws. So creating additional laws is not going to help anybody, because those weapons are not obtained through a firearms dealer. They are obtained through either theft. They are obtained through a back end like deals, or they're given as gifts from family and friends.
I feel the need to say this. When we come up with Measure 14, or when someone comes maybe against Measure 14, the talking point is you're not feeling for the people that are involved or family members that have been involved in crimes of mass shootings. They like to say that's a lack of empathy for those families. How will this impact mass shootings?
Nothing. It won't stop it at all. This will have zero impact on any mass shootings.
Those in mass shootings get their guns other ways.
Yeah, and even then, a mass shooting, you can still go out with 10 round magazines and just, like I said, if you have any training at all, to change out a magazine is literally on an AR-15 is literally a push, a kick with your rifle, throw that magazine out, and just slap it in there and hit the charging handle there, release it in, and you're good to go. And if you're trained, you can do that in about 2 to 3 seconds.
Gosh,
it doesn't take a lot.
Yeah, good conversation.
Exactly. Its purpose is to protect this government from law-abiding citizens.
Who said that?
Yeah, it's, John Eater said that.
John, there you go.
Exactly. So, but the thing is, they can't come into your house and take them, and if they do, that's violating your constitutional rights. So, and I think if they try that, they're going to have a serious fight in their hand. I don't think there's any law enforcement officer on this at least this state for sure, that it's going to come into who's going to want to come into your house and take that. And ATF isn't going to do it. So good luck, guys. Anyways, okay, well, that's all we got for tonight. We are over time. So thank you so much for joining us. Join us next week at 7 p.m. Same time, same place, same bad story.
Oh, say bad story or a bad story?
Bad story.
Bad to the bone.
And we do have Ranger games coming up next.
Before we go there, aren't we going to eventually be cooking something on this show?
Well, we're going to be making some changes here a little bit coming up over time. We're still working the details out, but we're going to start doing something during the show, whether that's talking about maybe smoking something. Like I say smoke, I mean like meat. I got meat. Smoking meat, not
legal. Smoking something in the smoker.
We're gonna maybe I'm starting to learn how to make mustard from scratch.
Yes.
That didn't turn out so well the first time, but I learned my lesson on what to do better.
Right.
I heard some people liked it. And just making different things. There could be more than just making food. We'll be trying new beers.
I want to try to. No, it's not just food; it's other things too. But I would definitely want to try jerky.
Yeah, we can try a bunch of different jerkies.
Yeah.
Or making jerky.
Making jerky.
We can do it. We can try different jerkies from around the world, hot sauces.
That would be awesome.
Send us some ideas, guys. We want to start doing something rather than just sitting here yabbering at each other. We will see you guys next time. Ranger Games is coming up around the corner here in a couple minutes. 8 o'clock.
See ya.
Bye.